Let's check and see. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't see us at all. Awesome.
It says we're live, but I don't see the link.
I don't either. Let's see what it looks like on the back end.
Oh, there we are. We are live.
All right. So cool. Let me just throw the thumbnail where it's supposed to be in the right, instead of the old fucking... All right, cool. Here we go. Correct this. All right, everyone's going to have to come over from the other fucking link, but this link should be good now if you want to share it out. Or if not, I don't care. Sorry, guys. So frustrating. All right. Cool. I think we're good. Let me just pull it up on the phone so I can manage the comments. Good Lord.
What's happening? Nighttime in the chat hanging out. Says yes. Pumped for some Alien Earth episode 4 talk. Oh yeah.
All right, cool. We already got 6 people up in the chat, so let me just put it out in the tweets. Hang on. Oh my God Almighty! Do you guys ever find that when you go to try and do something on your phone, you have like 40 windows open that you need to close by accident? Is that just me?
I try to manage those, but I find that if I need to do something in a rush, I always make I let the anxiety get to me.
If my phone can't handle my nonsense, it does not deserve to be my phone.
All right, so I'm going to tweet this out. Episode of Hashtag Alien Earth. And copy link. And post. Cool.
Got to get you that sweet StreamYard deal, Cecil. Maybe
I know,
if
I
you
had
use
to
my
figure
link,
out.
maybe they'll give you a deal.
Dude, $20 a month is way better than what I'm fucking looking like when I try and get it every time. It's like $80 or $90 or something.
That's friggin' wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Very, very fortunate.
All right. Well, cool. All right, cool. Well, let's get her started. What do you say? So, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Davey Deathray.
And I'm Mahalo.
We weren't even planned out that time, but you guys nailed it. Good job. Yes, and we are here to discuss the 4th episode of Alien Earth, you guys. And we'll do this like we do our normal reviews, you know. We might not break it down as in-depth as we do movies and stuff, because the effects at least are pretty consistent. If anyone has particular things to say about any aspect of the TV show that I might not hit on, please feel free to jump in. But my overall thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and start if that's okay with you guys. This was a big slip for me, this episode. I titled this, is this about aliens or synths? With an exclamation point and a question mark, because I hate how much this show is about synths. Like, I cannot stand that it's really a show about synths with some alien stuff sprinkled in. And I was really hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but we're halfway through. Clearly that's like the crux of the show, and it's like, fuck you guys, you know what I mean? Why? You know, is it just because if you didn't have enough money to do an 8-episode series that focused on the aliens, even if there's multiple species of aliens, then you should have done a 6-episode series and put the extra 2 episodes of money towards the fucking aliens? Because I'm sorry, this is a waste of my time at this point. I don't care about boy genius Peter Pan, fuck you bullshit. Like, let me try and crowbar Peter Pan into every episode somehow. I don't care about Wendy and the child robots. Like, okay, now she's kind of alien, now she's kind of Ripley from Alien Resurrection, where she's got a connection to the aliens, and it's like, who gives a fuck? Like I don't care at all at this point. And I don't know if I'm just being really harsh because it's just my initial reaction, but I really did not like this episode at all. We got 3 scenes of aliens total. And in total, in this hour-long episode, probably came to like 5-6 minutes, maybe. If that. It's like 2 scenes with the Oculus monster and 1 with a version of a Xeno. And that was it. And no. Okay, so sorry. I knew I was going to go off a little bit because I was really unhappy.
I love it. I love
spicy,
it.
Man.
Davey, Davey, you want to jump in now?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think we're falling into my fear and for most TV shows, and the reason why I don't watch a lot of television is the first 2 episodes were pretty great. I think pretty impressive. I really liked the monster action in the first episode. Of course, we hit on it last week, just talking about like the production design and the set design. It felt like we were there, with those first couple episodes. Like we're right there in that world that we know and love from the first 2 movies. And the first 2 episodes were so good at that. The third episode slipped a little bit. It still had some of that xenomorph action. And then in this episode, I'm like, oh no, we're fully into a lot of talking and really diving into the side characters and all of the contrivances of what this story is going to be, unfortunately, and these side plots and a lot of stuff that I just see in a lot of different shows. The building of alliances and bribing and all of the with the redheaded chick, the redheaded synth is like starting to really slip in a big way and show these
nibs.
I don't like that, and I don't like the whole thing with the one guy that's been talking to the security officer from the ship. Like these are things that all of these
being tricked by adult trope. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, and you can every TV show does this, whether it's a good TV show or just a run-of-the-mill show. I think all of these shows do this whole like there's this descent into either building alliances or breaking alliances apart. And to me, it's just unnecessary, like added kind of like human drama. And I put it in quotes because not everyone's human here. But I was like, oh my God, this is an hour long. And the only time I really feel engaged, unfortunately, is when Timothy Oliphant is on the screen. And it's not even because of the writing, it is because of his performance. There's just something gripping about that. But yeah, this episode for me, a lot of nothing until we get to see like the whole like mama/pet moment at the end, which I'm just like, wow, I watched an hour just for that, and then that's just a tease to the next episode. So yeah, not feeling too good, just like you, Cecil. I'm like, fuck, another TV show that's doing this. That's just a bunch of stuff we don't need and frankly didn't want in this franchise.
We came from an era of 22 to 23 episode seasons of television, and those had, maybe 4 to 5 episodes of filler, leaving, 15, 16 solid episodes a season usually. This is an 8 episode season, and 2 of them have been pretty much filler, like already. So like we're at half filler halfway through. That does not bode well. And it should not be that way when it's a fucking alien television show. I'm sorry, but like you have the audience. Clearly the audience is there. If you didn't have the budget, don't stretch the shit. Like tell an alien story. No one gives a fuck about the synths. What a misstep. It's like Sweet Revenge levels of missteppery. You know what I mean? Mahalo, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you guys. I want to find something to like about this one, so I don't want to really repeat what's already been said because I agree with you. I feel like the majority of this episode could have been squished into the tail end of the previous episode, leaving this episode to be the chaos that's to ensue. That's what this episode should have been. It should not have been this drawn out, pregnant synth. It is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Oliphant 100% is the only reason I really cared about this episode. I like his character a lot, Kirsch. I really want to know what he is. I don't know if he's a hybrid or a straight up android, but whatever his animosity is with the boy is pretty cool. I'm gonna refer to the android guy as Captain Hook because that's clearly what he's supposed to be, the pirate tricking the kid to join his side. All this is just too much. We just needed to focus on Wendy, Kirsch, and that trio right there with the boy. It's just too much. I'm with you. I'm really hoping these next couple episodes are just balls to the walls, xenomorph craziness. I did like getting to see the sheep Oculus thing happen.
But
That
we saw that with the cat already. Like,
yeah,
it's
but it
just
was cool to watch it pop out.
Yeah,
To
well,
watch it
okay,
happen.
yeah. So we saw the end of it last time, and this time we saw the beginning of it. But it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's a cool scene. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm
Yeah.
glad we got to see the scene, but it really is already more of the same with the Oculus creature. Like, we
Agreed.
still haven't seen. Like, we've seen the Oculus creature, and we've seen the slugs, and the xenomorphs, and there's supposed to be 5. Like, the pod hanging from the ceiling. We still don't know what the fuck that does, except spit a tongue out and like look around. And we haven't even really seen the 5th creature yet, like in full reveal, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, no, I agree. I trying to find something about this episode that I liked or thought was cool, because the majority of it was just such a slow episode and too much filler. I'm really hoping it's their only big world building episode they have before they unleash the craziness, because it was just.
I don't know.
I find it hard to believe.
Pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that as advanced as Prodigy supposedly is, which I did like that we finally got like all 5 companies name checked and kind of explained a little bit. But the Prodigy people seem smart enough to build in a shutdown switch. Like, if one of these fucking synths goes crazy, like they're children that they're putting in synthetic combat ready bodies, you'd think they'd be smart enough to put a shutdown fucking command or switch somewhere. But no, like, the psychologist is just, basically served up on a silver platter to the most annoying character in recent memory. Like, they're trying to make her scary when she's been a plateau of a face the entire time. Like, she hasn't emoted at all the entire season. Like, it's like, I can't stand it. I can't. And like, so, oh God, it's just her trope we've seen so many times. And it's like, okay, so it's Ex Machina, it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that. And it's just done so much poorer. And oh my God,
it's a little bit of a Pinocchio thing with her too. Like, I'm a real girl kind of like confusion. And clearly like there's some mental illness going on with this person as well. Or this former person. That is odd. You'd think they would have some sort of control, like an app on the phone or some literal control to be able to shut them down if they have to. And then the reveal that the psychologist she's married to the one.
I did like
guy.
The conversation that was cool.
But I was like, whoa, like we're just finding this out now, like 4 episodes in, and nothing. She just seems like she could be almost his mother, and whatever. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. It sort of caught me off guard because I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know these people were married, and here we're finding it out in this very like convenient expositional kind of way. And also another, I think I mentioned it on our last review, the whole sowing of dissent, which we're starting to see in like multiple factions now. And I think that kind of what you're getting to, Cecil, is, the whole why have these extra fluff episodes? I kind of think, why not consolidate and why didn't they just make a trilogy of movies instead of like a show that runs on for multiple seasons? Like, it just seems like we're getting more of like the kids hanging out and being kids, and it's like, well, we already know that about them. Like, we don't really need to see them eating their ice cream and whatever. Like, and then the real abrupt switch with the Indian kid once the security officer is like, you're gonna do this for me, it would be a shame if something happened to your family, like old school Al Capone gangster kind of stereotype move. And then he immediately is like looking like this cold-blooded killer, and man, they really wanted to just like chill on that shot for a long time of him staring into nothingness, and I just don't know if that's gripping television or cinema to me.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. So just real quick, let me shout out the people in the chat here. We have Nighttime in the chat from a little bit back. Josh Taylor, what's going on? Metropolis in the chat. We have, oh my God, let me make sure I read that right. Boinkbot. Okay. Don't want to mispronounce
What's up, Boinkbot? What are you doing later?
Got a $5 super chat from the Fading Man. This show is great. It's so creative. Love Nibs and how fast paced the show is. You're gonna like, no hate, much love for watching and for commenting, and very much for the $5 super chat. But you thought this episode was fast paced? Like, that's the last thing I would describe this episode as. But please let me know if you think that's the case, The Fading Man. I'd be very interested to know your thoughts. Fast-paced Metropolis says, I didn't even see that. You guys don't like character development, was his $2 follow-up. If I don't like the characters, I don't care about the character development. Like, I don't care about a bunch of kids put into synth bodies. This wasn't a show. I didn't want to watch a show about a collective of synths. I wanted to watch a show about aliens. This is a show about synths, especially a synth and her human brother. Like, I don't care about that. That's not why I come to Alien. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Again, I am not talking down to anyone that enjoys the show. This is just our thoughts on it. And just because we don't like it doesn't mean we don't like character development. That's a very broad brush to paint us with that I don't feel is all the way fair. And the fact that there's 3 of us that all feel the same way, maybe there's something to what we're saying a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's put it that way. But much respect for your own opinions, The Fading Man, for sure. T. O'Neill in the chat. Hi. This episode reconfirmed my opinion of the Dark Horse Comics plot device and retooled it for Alien Earth. There's 25 years of Dark Horse Alien comics. I do not know which one you're referring to, but it is entirely possible that at this point they're rehashing some comic book plot lines just a little bit. But at that,
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
I think with the character development and everything, it really just is about like consolidation and not doing the same kind of stuff that a lot of other TV shows do. So I really do appreciate really good character development. It's one of the things that's like most like story and character development / arc are 2 of the most important things when I'm watching a story, but we have a lot of characters here. And so the problem that television particularly seems to run into is you have a lot of characters and you spend a lot of time on things that don't necessarily move on or, move forward the main part of the plot, which here is the aliens and the discovery and the kind of warring between the corporations and everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, to top with that, at the same time, if the show was called Prodigy, then I think I wouldn't be so against this specific episode. Sure. If this show wasn't called Alien, with the visual aspect of the xenomorph being the key selling point, I think with that kind of trade-off, that makes me want the show to be about aliens. If it was called Prodigy and we were given a little more exposition to the synths prior, then yeah, sure, I could see wanting to care about these characters if I chose to watch the show about some Prodigy synths. And then you find out it's connected to the Alien universe. That's cool. But when you sell it as aliens and then it's just about 80% of it is the synths trying to figure out how to be synths or humans, but it's under the alien banner, it just doesn't fit for me, especially when this whole episode was, to me, just too much. It was the tail end of last episode stretched out when it should have been crammed into that last episode. It was a waste.
Let me ask you guys a question, because this just occurred to me, and I feel like this would have been a better approach. I feel like if this show had just been called, like, Weyland-Yutani, and, like, eliminate the 5 companies, just make this a Weyland-Yutani city, and if this is pre-Alien, make this their first encounter with the Xeno, and, like, this is why they are now out there trying to find it, because it was the most deadly of all 5 of these species, kind of thing, and, like, they realize its value, and you don't have to have this synth bullshit and this, corporate politics. This really reminds me of fucking episode 1 of Star Wars, where we got, the Chinese alien trade fucking bullshit, at the council. It's like, I don't need this corporate infighting. Like, just eliminate all that. Eliminate the 5 corporations. Make this a Weyland-Yutani city. Make this the first time they encounter the Xeno. And, like, this is why they go out and start searching for, you know, the Xenos and stuff like that, you know. Maybe make this, because they touched on the fact that Weyland and Yutani were separate in Prometheus and Covenant, so like make this when they merge, right? Like maybe those two are fighting, and then by the end they're like, you know what, maybe we'd be better teaming up to work together to get this fucking deadliest weapon ever in any universe, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that would have been a lot more of a concise plot than all of this side shit that, like, I don't give two shits about.
It's the failure in expectations due to the naming of the show. Again, if the show was called Prodigy Yutani or Weyland Yutani, we would expect this to be mostly synth-heavy, character-driven. But the show is called Alien.
That's true.
So we're expecting Xenomorph. At least give us more Xenomorph. If you're going to give us more lore building, give us more lore building into the Xenomorph life cycle. Give us something else other than you cutting into a Xenomorph facehugger and pulling out a little baby thing. You know, it just doesn't feel like they're really trying to give you more than what Alien than they have to give you. And the show is called Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way they blew right out of the gate with the first two episodes, you're like, all right, this thing is like off and running. They did a really good job with those first two episodes. I'm starting to think that, you know, I really like when movies or any kind of media drop you in the middle of a situation. In this, we're sort of getting the middle of a situation with Weyland Yutani, but we're also getting the genesis of a situation with Prodigy. So they're trying to sort of play both of these, you know, doing the origin of the synths and everything. Maybe and I know they want to do the Peter Pan thing. I'm starting to think we really only need Wendy and the other people at Prodigy. We don't need all the synths. The synths right now haven't really done too much, other than you can tell that the one guy is going to try to get the brother to have a face hugger on him because he just doesn't like the brother now because he has a brother and he's just now realizing it. Really weird contrivances. And yes, every story is contrived to a certain degree, but sometimes it's tough to buy into, and this was one of those instances for me.
The point is making contrivances feel organic.
Yes,
because then it becomes organic and not a contrivance. But yes,
it's got to feel plausible.
Even organic shit are contrivances. It's just a matter of they were written better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you going to sit there and say that's contrived, or are you just going to like buy into it and be sunken into the world?
That's good writing. You know, like it's literally two sides of a seesaw. You know what I mean?
So I think there's just maybe a little bit too much going on here, and it's being stretched out across these 8 episodes. I think we have enough with Wendy and with everyone else to propel the plot. So they're having to be busybodies with the writing, and for me, it's not working in these last 2 episodes particularly. I mean, this one especially felt like a pretty big drop off for me.
Yeah, for sure. If like I would say, if just real quick, try and knock this out, I would say episodes 1 and 2 were like 7.5, 8s for me. Episode 3 probably like a 6.5. Episode 4, we're down in like the 4.5 to 5 territory because I'm just like, I don't care about so much of it. So it's a pretty nasty drop. I'm hoping they can boomerang back up, but
yeah,
I'm not necessarily confident that they'll be able to do that. I did want to touch on this. Teague O'Neill says, so this episode reconfirmed my opinion of the Dark Horse comics, right? I already mentioned that. I'm liking the possibility that this is that this newborn Xeno thinks Wendy is its queen. Okay, but what does that accomplish? Like, it obeys her? So, like, okay, so here's where that would be cool for me. If the thing is, Ola Fantastic knows about this thing. It would have been interesting if she had been the only one there and she kind of kept it secret, and like it's what she uses to track down and kill the other species that escape or something like that. Like make it her dog kind of thing. Like that would have been kind of interesting, right? Like but like what's the purpose in having it think she's the queen? I guess we'll wait for the astounding writing to reveal that. But I like strong sci-fi series, and this ticks all the boxes. Fair enough. 5 corporations playing Monopoly, 3 classes having identity crises, and 5 separate alien species. That already is overcrowded to me. Like that even just writing that out feels overcrowded. All right. So what up, Eli? Good to see you, Eli, in the chat. So yeah, let's continue on. let's touch on the acting just a little bit. Again, we don't need to belabor this, but you know, when you don't care about the plot or the characters, it's tough for you to really, or it's tough for me anyway, to really key into and care about the acting going on. You know what I mean? What about you guys? How do you feel about the acting?
Mahalo, you have at it.
Wendy, I actually like Wendy. I think she's doing a wonderful job. Oliphant, he's literally the most interesting character every time he's on screen. I want to know more about him, and it's not that we don't care about character development. We care about interesting character development, right? So Oliphant, I want to know more about him. If you're going to give us more backstory and more stuff, give me more of him. You know, I actually really liked the acting that was done between the married couple. I liked their interaction, but other than that, there really wasn't anything that popped out there. The angry synth, again, it just doesn't have the same veracity I felt like Ash had when he kind of started snapping. It just seems very dry in that actress's approach. Yeah, it just doesn't. Again, maybe it's because the whole episode itself left a bad taste in my mouth. That again, I can't find a whole lot else to point to that I thought was really great. But that, at least that I want to point out too.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, Wendy, I do. I think she's really good. Of course, Timothy Olyphant, love the significant looks. He's full of those in this show, and I want them to give him more. The guy that plays the boy genius, like, it was fine for the first couple episodes, but now I'm just like, I'm not getting enough of different kind of stuff from him. It's always samey every time he's on, so it's starting to feel pretty one note with his character. Whereas I think it would, you know, it would bring some more complexity to just sort of see some sort of doubt or something with him. It seems like what they were hinting at with the last episode, that he's going to have his little side alliance with the one synth woman who feels like she's better than Wendy. So the way that I sort of see things going, and I could be wrong, is I see him sort of allying himself with her, and then I see Kirsch and Wendy sort of teaming up, and that maybe Wendy does use the alien as a dog to try to knock out the boy genius, so she can so they can kind of be free, to sort of like free the Lost Boys, is what I'm starting to wonder if that's the direction they're going with those characters. But then again, I'm sitting here thinking about the synths more than thinking about what they're going to do with like all of the creatures. So yeah, I mean, the main players here I think are good enough, but there's a lot of performances that are just sort of bland. The Nibs, and then what's his name? The guy, the Indian kid. What's his name?
Asher Singh.
Yeah, I can't remember what his synth name is or whatever. Yeah. So those, I mean, we're spending a lot of time with these characters. I don't think the performances are really quite there for how much screen time they're getting either. And then of course there's the development. But yeah, man, they got something with that Wendy chick. That's why I don't think they need much more than her as far as all that goes.
They could have kept the other characters peripheral and just kept it as that. They did not need to go any further into them. Wendy is where it's at. Wendy and Timothy Olyphant.
So I'm going to pose one last question before we wrap this up, because I don't think there's a lot more else to talk about. My question is, what the fuck was Prodigy's plan with this creating synths from children thing? Because synths are supposed to be advanced robots, right? So, like, it feels like they wouldn't have done this. The boy genius doesn't feel like someone that would have done this altruistically. So I feel like he would have had some sort of behind-the-scenes plan as to why he's taking these terminal children and putting them into synth bodies. But, like, if the synth intelligence doesn't come with it, what's the fucking point? You're just giving super powerful bodies to, 5-year-old minds, to 12-year-old minds. Like, what's that going to do for you as a company? Like, and if it's just to prove that you can do it, why do you need 6 of them, or however the fuck many there are? What's the core conceit of the show, when you get down to it, doesn't really make a lot of sense unless I'm missing something. I asked that question to you guys. What do you think? Am I missing something, or is that just really dumb writing?
I think he said something about he wants to just like end death or like prove that
it's
life can be.
immortality.
But I think it's
Sure,
also like an army of like the very easily to manipulate people. You know, maybe it's something like it's like the genesis of that. But we're already seeing that like get off the rails here pretty damn quick.
I guess it's just not that interesting if that's all it is when they haven't like fully like have the boy genius give us a devious monologue like explaining that that's his purpose and that like he doesn't really give a shit about these kids. He just wants to build an army that he can control. Give us that fucking speech so we can hate this guy for more than just his acting, you know, more than just his performance. So yeah, I don't know. That's all I really have to say about it. If you guys have any final thoughts or any thoughts on the effects, again, I think the effects are still fine. I particularly like the Oculus creature effects. But otherwise it's all just, you know, it's what I would hope for and expect from an Alien property. Unfortunately, I'm not getting the story I would hope really for and expect from an Alien property. Yeah. So any final thoughts from you guys or any specific thoughts on the effects or anything?
There wasn't really anything significant other than the Oculus monster that they had in this episode. Everything else was pretty much conversation for the most part. The way Nibs jumped across the table was weird, but that was all.
She jumps like really... Super Mario.
Yeah, it was a strange, weird jump.
You could add that boom, that Mario sound effect to her jump, and it would fit really well.
They could have reshot that.
Well, it was two shots. That's the thing. It was a shot of her legs taking off, and then her landing on that. Like there was not even a shot of her soaring through the air or anything. It's like we don't have money to actually show her going through the air. We have money. Like we'll put a trampoline there. She'll run and jump off of it, and then we'll replace the trampoline with the chair she was sitting in digitally, and then we'll just have her like jump from a ladder onto the fucking psych, and boom, we're done. You know, done. cheap.
Yeah, that was about as cheap as it looked.
Yeah, we're gonna shoot this like Roger Corman would have. Yeah, the little snaky xenomorph looked pretty cool, and who knows what that's really gonna. It seems like it's gonna be a different form since it was born just out of a lung. It seems like it's gonna be slightly different.
Well, because
they always had
a human lung, right? So
have they always had that long of a tail? Because it seems like it was.
I think it's a queen, to tell you the truth. The one that popped out, it has arms, and underneath the arms,
it did have
arms.
When we've seen queen aliens that are larval stage, they still have the crown.
Okay.
Maybe it's like a cobra. It hadn't flexed it yet.
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but possibly.
I
won't rule anything out with this TV show, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they
did do the Cobra thing in Prometheus, so who's to say they don't? You know?
Yeah, and then again, the ending the episode with a pop song is, it's Jane's Addiction, and it's like it's maybe a little bit better, but it just gives me this like beginning of CSI kind of vibe, where I'm just like, what is this a beer commercial now?
In that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
So yeah, I hope the next one picks it back up because holy shit, this is a deep valley here on episode 4.
This is bad too because usually, right? Like we have a perfect co-running example with the Wednesday show. Netflix just dropped the first 4 of 8 episodes of Wednesday, and you know what they did? They did basically a mid-season finale. You can't do TV shows anymore without making sure that middle episode is not something big. If we're at your mid-season finale, even though it's an 8-episode series, if we're at your mid-season finale and it's like the most boring episode we've gotten so far, you're gonna have a lot of people check out that are just gonna wait, and like once it's done, they'll ask their friends if it's worth watching the finale. But like they're not gonna sit through another 3-4 episodes of this. They're just not. I will because I'm stupid.
And a lot of TV shows too, especially with streaming shows, a lot of things I hear from people when they're like trying to convince me to watch a show, they're like, oh, it takes about 3 or 4 episodes to really get going, but then you'll be into it. But this show did the opposite thing where it really like blasted hard out of the gate, and it's just been like, slowly dying since then. So Yeah, and if they think that the last little bit of Wendy with the xenomorph, if they think that that is like the big, hook of that episode, it's a very small part of the episode. It is like 2 minutes of the episode. But kind of cute with her petting it like a little kitty.
Oh, I hated it. I hated that part. I loved the xenomorph. I hate that she petted it like it was a dang pet. Yeah.
That you should not. No one
They
should
took
be able to pet a xenomorph like that.
But that's what they're setting up, though. They're setting up that weird connection that, for whatever reason, hopefully that it all makes sense with the way they tell the rest of the episodes. If they don't explain it, then it is going to be just a big waste.
I'll tell you how I'll forgive it. If she rides the Xeno like He-Man riding Battle Cat, then I will give 3 points back to this TV show. Like,
hi ho, Silva! Away!
So fucking amazing. Let's go, Xeno! Like she'll have some battle cry.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's not belabor this any more than we already have. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I know it's not been the most fun thing. I would like to try and do this for each Tuesday if possible. So right. Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 episodes left, so we're in deep. So here we go. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, especially if you've watched all the way up to this point. Thank you to our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
I've been Davey Deathray.
And I'm Mahalo.
And remember, guys, stay scared.
Stay scared.
Cameo.
Bye.
Oh, hang on. I don't even know how to end this. Okay. Oh, wait. I think that'll do it.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Let's do it.